Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Completely Bad Boys by J.R. Williams, a Fantagraphics publication from 1992, collecting J.R. Williams' Bad Boys comic strips. These were in various places. Some of them were never really shown before. Some of them are from Weirdo. Some of them are from local papers in Portland where J.R. Williams lives. And I just love J.R. Williams cartooning. One of the perfect comedy styles. You know, just he's got it down. I love this gag here. I mean, it's so foul for a comic about kids where they're reenacting the JFK assassination kind of. So these are the bad boys, Billy and Bobby. And they're really terrible. But that's the thing of J.R. Williams is he really remembers just how shitty children are and how cruel they are. And all the stupid things little kids do to be cruel and, you know, I guess, quote unquote, funny. It seems like he really has a really great memory for that. And almost every strip in here reminded me of something I heard on the schoolyard. To be honest, some of them aren't funny at all. Some of the things kids say, the mean things they say aren't funny. They're just stupid kids things to razz on someone. So we have a little introduction from J.R. Williams here. And he kind of talks about the bad boys and where they started. And it kind of jumps around. So I'll start with these strips, which I don't know where maybe these appeared in the weekly newspaper because they are little strips. These are all, singular little comic strips. And we basically see, let me get that. I just wanted to make sure. Billy and Bobby, they're the protagonists. I mean, they're the little turds, but they're the protagonists. And they're these brothers who are just really mean. They're jerks. And they basically spend every day torturing this poor kid who they call Fatty. His real name's Scott, but they never call him that. And so all these strips are, little gags. And I gotta be honest, some of them aren't really that funny. But I love his art style. Just it's totally simple. And some of these are just, look at this one. It's just the brothers saying, trick or treat, smell my feet, then give me something good to eat. Ha, ha, ha. So, I mean, that was just the traditional thing we said at Halloween. I don't know, but I think he's just trying to remind us of all the goofy little stupid things kids say. And so sometimes they're not that funny. They're just like, hey, remember this? This is something kids did. And also, even when they're not funny, I am fascinated by these strips because just how cruel kids are. And the way they torture this poor kid Fatty is just, I'm going to call him Fatty because that's what they call him. In many strips, he says, stop calling me Fatty, my name's Scott. And they're just like, okay, Fatty. And they laugh. So it's just like, it's so mean. And this poor kid Fatty, of course, I'm a fat guy, so I identify with him, I guess. Luckily, I just kind of got out of that phase of most of my life I've been fat, but I also realized, that doesn't mean I'm going to put up with people's shit. But poor Fatty, I dread what his future is going to be like. 'Cause it just seems like he's so lonely and such a loser that he puts up with all their abuse. Just so he has friends to play with, basically. So many of the strips are them running to Fatty's house like, come on, Fatty, come on out. We want to play. And of course, they always make him be the loser in whatever game they're playing. And it's very cruel. Here's another one. It's just like, jingle bells, shotgun shells, Santa Claus is dead. Johnny took his 22 and shot him in the head. Ha, ha, ha. Merry Christmas. I never heard that one, to be honest, as a kid. They find their father's porn tapes. But most of them are about them wanting to play with Fatty just so they can basically psychologically torture him. A lot of them also are like, kids, fascinated by things they're not supposed to look at, like porn or bodily functions. Here's a longer form strip, and I think this might be the one that was in Weirdo. I should have double checked that, but maybe it's coming up soon because this is long. It's not just little strips, and they want to play superhero with Fatty. Of course, Fatty has to be the bad guy, which gives them an excuse to beat the crap out of him. And then they throw him in jail, quote unquote, which is a refrigerator, a broken refrigerator at the junkyard. And they throw him inside, close the door, and then leave. And then it says weeks later, hey, I haven't seen Fatty for a long time. He was probably too stupid to get out of that old refrigerator. Ha 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 ha. And so basically, Fatty's dead. So J.R. Williams talks about that in his introduction. Is like, yeah, I was talking to Peter Bagg, and he was like, yeah, it's funnier if Fatty dies from their pranks. You can always bring him back. It's just a stupid comic strip, right? This one, they're playing Mutiny on the Bounty, and they want Fatty to appropriately play Captain Bligh, because Captain Bligh's kind of fat. Of course, it's so sad. Fatty's just like, I get to be the captain, awesome. He doesn't know. These bad boys who seem very dumb, they seem to know a lot of stuff of literature and stuff. It's kind of interesting. So, of course, Fatty ends up getting humiliated. Oh, and he ends up dead at the end because he falls out of their tree fort. And they laugh uproariously. And this becomes the catchphrase of almost every strip. Who says there's no such thing as a bad boy? I'm not a big fan of that catchphrase. Even once, but then it's just repeated. This one, they find some goofy Russian hats, so they play Russians. And we realize that Fatty has a crush on Peggy. Peggy is the girl that they always, they abuse her when Fatty's not around and make fun of her constantly. But Fatty has a crush on her, and this makes it just all this more sad. Because whenever they're like, come on, Fatty, Peggy's going to be there. And he's always like, oh, Peggy's going to play too. So once again, he's humiliated. Fatty's humiliated. And it looks like Peggy is dead because they threw rocks at her head. Here's one that kind of flashes back because it looks like this is when they first meet Peggy. She's the new kid in town, so for the school newspaper, they're going to interview her, and all their questions are just like stupid kid stuff. Like, can you spell pig backwards and then say funny? G-I-P funny. You do? Ha ha ha. So dumb. But that's the kind of stupid shit kids would say. All these stupid little pranks. Well, almost every one is in different formats. Okay, this might be the one that was in Weirdo. And once again, it involves humiliating Fatty. In this one, it ends with them dousing him in gasoline and chasing him with a lighter. To be honest, luckily I didn't know any kids this bad. But I knew really mean kids when I was a kid. I gotta be honest, guys. Sometimes I was the mean kid. Every now and then, I don't know what, I'd get picked on, and then I'd turn around and pick on younger kids. It was this vicious cycle. I'm not proud of it. In fact, I'm ashamed of it. And it's really shameful because I knew how shitty it felt to be picked on, and yet I would turn around and pick on younger kids. But never like this. First of all, I wouldn't murder them, and I wouldn't light them on fire. But I would basically get this like sick satisfaction from like trying to make them cry. Oh, God. I can't believe I'm admitting this to you. How was it? A little shit. And I got over it, luckily, pretty young. It was just a little phase I went through, but it's just horrible. Just how kids suck. That's how I'm going to absolve myself. Most kids are little shits, and I was too. So this is one of the longer form stories. Once again, they lure him out of the house with the promise of hanging out with Peggy. And of course, it's all an excuse to harm him. What also makes it really sad is that Peggy is disgusted by Fatty. So it's just so sad and pathetic. And once again, this ends with impending violence for Fatty at the hands of the bad boys. Here we're back to the strips. Now this is interesting. So I guess J.R. Williams, he tried to make like a cleaner Bad Boy strip so it could actually be like syndicated. He actually thought, hey, maybe I could be the next Dilbert. And he sent these around to syndicates. So these are much cleaner. And I gotta say, so they're not that funny. And it doesn't even have that weird bizarreness of like how bad these kids are. I'm trying to find if there's any one of these that are that good. Not really, but they are kind of playing up the whole nostalgia thing. Like, oh, remember this crazy thing when you were a kid? How you would beg your parents to stay up all night to see a monster movie, and then of course you'd fall asleep. Which, I mean, yeah, that's a universal thing. And they're kind of goofy gags. Here's one. I mean, this is like Garfield level or even lower. It's like, Dad says if you put the shell up to your ear, you can hear the ocean. Do you hear it? I don't know. Those waves are making too much noise. I mean, that's pretty weak. And, you know, I'm sorry, J.R. Williams. I've met the guy a couple of times, and he's a super cool guy. But a lot of these just aren't that funny. Then again, he kind of neutered himself for these strips. He's really trying to appeal to that mass audience. Here's more of those. And yeah, just more of the same. Not that impressive. I do kind of like this one. Like, look, it's a slug. Quick, get some salt. We got to kill it. And the one's left behind just watching the slug. He's like, hurry, it's getting away. Even though it's moving like a millimeter every minute. So this is interesting. This is the first Bad Boy strip ever made. I don't think this was ever published. This he made for his friend. He had some like book with blank pages in it. Actually, it's kind of an interesting thing. It's a book he found in a St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. It's like a log for some weird Christian sect that would log those who had died. And so we still see at the top, it says the following, wait, sorry guys, I can't read it from here. The following died on 7th of August. May his soul, their souls, and all the souls of our departed, yada, yada, yada. But he just used this as like, hey, I got all these blank pages. So this is the very first Bad Boy strips that he just made for fun for his buddy. I guess his buddy needs cheering up or something. But it has all the essential ingredients of Bad Boys. Where it is kind of weird. They're kind of out of order. I noticed that as I read it, I was like, oh, wait, no, you have to go like this. Bam, bam, bam. So, but it's kind of a fun story where one of them reads Mark Twain. Reads, I believe, Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer. And I guess in that, Tom Sawyer, they go to a graveyard at midnight. So they go to the graveyard. They see all these crazy monsters. And they're going to break into a grave. And somehow they have dynamite. And they blow up a grave and all his body parts fall. One of them has a head, one of them has an arm. And one of them says, this would be real cool at show and tell. Yeah. And even then he had the dumb catchphrase. Who says there's no such thing as a bad boy? This back cover is kind of a collage, but there's actually like mini strips in here. I don't know what these are from. I guess it says completely Bad Boys, and yet these seem to be panels from other strips. that are not reprinted in here, so I don't know. But they're actually pretty good. There's some good yucks in here. And once again, I just love Jared Williams cartooning. It's not fancy at all. It's very rudimentary. But it's just that style that just looks funny. That's why I guess I'm kind of a little disappointed with these. Like, the art looks so funny, and yet so many of the gags are really fall flat and aren't that great. Just kind of nostalgic stuff. So, I mean, I still love Jared Williams, and I'm never going to sell this comic. I love just looking at his cartooning, and I do love the mean-spiritedness of these boys, because I don't think any comic has ever captured just how shitty little kids can be. You know, there's Dennis the Menace and whatever, a few other comics. But Billy and Bobby are fucking psychotic. They're fucking psychopaths. And I love the fact that he finds humor in that. I almost wonder if this might not be publishable today. People would be like, that's just not cool, you know, little kids murdering people, I don't know. But I don't care about that kind of stuff. I'm an old man, and I'm going to keep liking what I like. I don't give a shit what's going on in the world. But I definitely like this comic, even though I'm amazed at how many of the gags aren't that funny. And yet I still really like it. And like I said, Jared Williams, world-class cartoonist, I think, when it comes to funny cartooning. Classic, goofy, funny cartooning. He's got that perfect style. So I've definitely read better stuff by Jared Williams. He has a long list of strips he's done over the decades. And but I still kind of like Bad Boys. And unfortunately, well, not that unfortunate, but this is the only Jared Williams comic I own. His only solo comic I own. I have many strips by him and many anthologies, you know, dating back to the 80s. And just tons of funny, good stuff. So there you have it, guys. Completely Bad Boys, #1. I'm almost positive there's never #2. I don't even know if there's that many more Bad Boy strips after this. I think it just was a certain amount of years he was making these. But apparently Jared Williams was just in town at Floating World. He's got a new book of he's got some trading cards for sale, and a new book of just like his beautiful full color drawings / paintings. And it looks great. It's not comic strips though. It's just like art. But I'm glad he's still out there cranking great shit out. And kudos to you, Mr. Williams. And I'm sorry if you're watching this, how not that thumbs up I'm giving this comic. I wish I could. Because, yeah, some of these gags are just, they're stale. They're corny. Some of them I don't even get what the joke is. It's like head scratching. They're like, where's the joke? You forgot to put a joke in. But, okay, I'll stop rambling, guys. Sorry. I'm really drunk today. I just wanted to make this video. But I still recommend this comic. I gladly keep it in my collection. And the Academy is proud to have it. Just for an example of Jared Williams' great cartooning. Okay, thanks, guys, for watching. And I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.